Okay, let's unpack this. What if the secret to feeling more vibrant, maybe having clearer skin, even regulating your hormones, what if it wasn't in some new product or, a complicated routine, but in something you do literally every single minute without even thinking about it, something fundamental, but maybe overlooked?
It's a powerful idea, isn't it? This source really challenges us to pivot our understanding of well-being. It asks us to look beyond, say, the surface of cosmetic solutions or even diet and consider this essential, but yeah, often ignored environmental factor, the actual air we breathe.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving deep into today. We're exploring a really intriguing document. It's titled The Human Paradise, Aging Slowly with Clean Air. And it's authored by Fuchi Wu, they call him Master, and Junshi DaGe. And it even cites a U.S. patent, US 826-8058B2, for something called a high-efficiency Labyrinth air treatment device.
Right, specific.
Right. So our mission for this deep dive is to unpack the document's, well, pretty provocative claim that air quality, especially for women, holds a critical key to slowing down aging. And we want to understand the sophisticated technology they propose to achieve this. We're not just reading it, we're kind of peeling back the layers on this theory that claims to unlock a big secret to vitality. And it starts with a pretty bold accusation against our modern indoor lives.
Yeah, the source doesn't really pull any punches. It opens with a striking assertion. What matters more than skincare is air. It pushes back hard against the usual thinking, right? Arguing that creams, no matter how fancy, they only touch the surface. But the air you breathe every minute, that, it says, enters your lungs, flows through your blood, and reaches every cell. That's quite an image.
It really is. It's a fundamental reorientation. For so long, the focus has been external applications, internal supplements maybe, all aimed at boosting defenses or reversing visible signs of aging. But this document insists we've been maybe tackling symptoms externally while overlooking what it sees as the root cause, literally, in every breath. It's not just saying air is important, it's positioning it as like the primary driver of how well we feel and how quickly we age.
And it goes further. It identifies what it calls a hidden environmental trap. Something modern women, it says, face daily. I mean, think about your own routine, right? How much time do you spend indoors? Offices, homes, cars, even places like gyms or spas. So many of these spaces are sealed, air-conditioned. And the core problem, according to this source, isn't just the lack of fresh air. Critically, it's poor ventilation, leading to low oxygen levels and accumulated pollutants, all inside these seemingly safe, controlled environments.
Which feels counterintuitive, doesn't it? We think indoors means protected.
Exactly. And what symptoms does it link to this, well, insidious poor air quality? It's a list that, honestly, it describes the daily reality for so many of us. Things we often just brush off as being busy or, oh, I'm just getting older, 3. The document lists brain fog, trouble focusing, dull skin, dryness, enlarged pores, irritability even, and that persistent fatigue that just won't quit, menstrual irregularities, shallow sleep, waking up still feeling tired. It paints a picture of this, like, pervasive, subtle decline.
These symptoms are so common, yeah. Many of us just accept them as part of modern life, don't we? But this document really forces a mindset shift. It challenges that deep assumption that being inside protects us. This source suggests the opposite, that our modern controlled environments can actually degrade our health, our appearance from the inside out. There's a particularly powerful quote here that really captures it. You're not tired because you're weak. You're tired because the air is poisoning you slowly.
Wow. That reframes things completely.
It does. It reframes fatigue not as some personal failing, but as a direct environmental consequence, one we might not even be aware of.
That's a really unsettling thought, but it makes you look at your surroundings differently, doesn't it? And it brings us to another critical distinction the master makes. The document strongly asserts, air conditioning is not the same as clean air. It emphasizes only fresh air with oxygen sustains real beauty. So it's not just about temperature or filtering some dust. It's about the air's actual composition, its vitality.
Absolutely. We often equate conditioned air with good air. Cool air feels comfortable, so we think comfortable must be healthy. But this source draws a very sharp line. It suggests just circulating and cooling, stale, maybe oxygen-depleted air that does nothing to really nourish the body or support long-term vitality. It implies a deeper, more active quality of air is needed for genuine well-being.
Okay, so what is this kind of air that makes you beautiful then, according to the master? The source outlines 3 very specific conditions that this ideal air needs to meet. First, an active oxygen supply. To keep your brain sharp, your cells energized. It sounds like more than just normal ambient oxygen.
Like a more potent, readily available form, perhaps.
Right. Second, 0 toxic gas accumulation. This means free from incredibly tiny particles, like PM0.1. These are ultrafine, way smaller than the PM2.5 most filters talk about, so small they can basically slip past defenses and get into your bloodstream. Also free from VOCs, those volatile organic compounds, invisible gases from cleaning supplies, paint, new furniture, fabrics. They degrade air quality subtly. And it mentions synthetic fragrances, too.
Things we often don't even think about as pollutants.
Exactly. And the third condition, stable airflow, temperature, and humidity. This balance is crucial, it says, for preserving skin moisture and reducing those visible signs of aging. Fluctuating or really dry air can actively work against our skin's natural barrier.
And what's key here is the synergy. It's not just one or two. The document argues all three conditions must be met simultaneously for the air to be truly beauty-sustaining. It's a holistic view of the atmospheric environment needed for the body to thrive.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting and maybe a bit controversial. The source explicitly states that these three vital conditions, active oxygen, zero toxins, stable environment, they cannot be delivered by any standard AC system. Full stop. That's not a small critique. That's like saying the technology most of us rely on is fundamentally limited.
It definitely raises the question, doesn't it? If conventional air conditioning falls so short, what kind of system can deliver this ideal air? And the source immediately points to a specific answer. The Air 6 Free Maze Purification System plus fresh air intake. It's presented as the exclusive solution, engineered precisely to combat that hidden environmental trap and meet all three conditions, which sets the stage for how this problem, as they see it, might actually be solved.
And that leads us right to their proposed solution, the human paradise. The source pictures this not just as any room, but as a personal anti-aging chamber, specifically designed for nightly use about 8 hours while you sleep. The whole concept is creating this perfect, pristine environment for your body to rejuvenate, to restore itself, without interference during that critical repair time.
Yeah.
And the benefits promised from just spending 8 hours a night in this human paradise, they sound pretty transformational. You're told you'll sleep deeply, wake up actually glowing, feel clear-headed, emotionally balanced during the day. And for women specifically, it promises hormone regulation, stabilized cycles, and importantly, maintaining skin elasticity, slowing down the appearance of wrinkles. It's painting this picture of a profound internal reset.
What's really fascinating is the complete shift in focus. Instead of telling you to add more products, more supplements, more complex therapies, the emphasis is entirely on creating the optimal environment so the body can, as it says, stop breaking down while you sleep. It's about leveraging the body's own natural healing processes just by controlling the air quality meticulously. It's passive, but potentially profoundly impactful. Works while you rest.
Okay, so how does it actually work? To understand the how behind the human paradise, we need to look at the appendix section of the source. This details how the Air 6 Free Maze purification works. And this is where that patent, US 826A058B2, for the high-efficiency Labyrinth air treatment device really comes in. This isn't just blowing air through a filter. It sounds like a very engineered system.
Definitely sounds complex.
So first, let's clarify Air 6 Free. What does that mean? It's comprehensive purification, promising air, that is. Dust-free, germ-free, toxin-free, smoke-free, odor-free, and heavy metal free, basically aiming for total air purity against a whole spectrum of threats.
Covering all the bases, it seems.
Pretty much. Now, let's break down the technology step by step. Step 1 is primary negative ion charging, plus pathogen neutralization, plus HEPA prefiltration. Okay, so air first enters an ionization chamber. Invisible threats, viruses, bacteria, tiny nanoparticles get an electrical charge. Like rubbing a balloon on your hair makes things stick. This charge makes them way easier to capture later. Then, these charged particles hit a HEPA prefilter, which grabs the bigger stuff. PM2.5, dust, pollen, even microplastics. And crucially, it says it neutralizes VOCs and industrial toxins without using activated carbon, which is common in other systems.
That initial negative ion charging is really key. It fundamentally changes the particles, making them much easier to remove than just traditional filtering alone. It's not just passively catching what's there, it's actively preparing the air for deeper cleaning.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. Moving to step 2, there's a secondary negative ion zone. This gives a second, powerful round of negative ionization, charging particles even more. This step is specifically designed not just to charge, but to actively kill bacteria and viruses directly, and break down any remaining chemical toxins at a molecular level. So it's like a double layer of defense, making sure anything missed the first time gets dealt with.
A sort of belt and braces approach to pathogens and chemicals.
Exactly. Then in step 3, we get to the electrostatic capture. This happens inside what they call the electrostatic collection maze box. Here, those now heavily charged particles, dust, germs, toxins, are powerfully drawn to strategically placed electrostatic plates. Once they hit these plates, the source says they are permanently trapped, which is a critical point. It prevents the re-release of those ultrafine pollutants, bacteria, viruses, back into the air, which can be a concern with some filters if they get saturated.
Right, that permanent trapping is a significant claim. Many filters can become sources themselves if not maintained perfectly. This electrostatic method aims to completely eliminate that risk. Once it's captured, it's out of the air for good.
Seems thorough. And it keeps going. Step 4 describes the air being forced through a multi-angled maze structure. This is the labyrinth part. The design sounds really ingenious. Nanoparticles, because they're so tiny and have inertia, they literally can't follow the sharp, sudden turns in the airflow inside this maze. Instead, they crash into positively charged walls, almost like tiny billiard balls hitting the sides. The document calls this an electrostatic impaction effect. It says every turn is a trap. Nothing escapes. It's engineered to physically capture even the tiniest, slipperiest toxins that might have somehow gotten through everything else.
This really isn't traditional filtration, is it? As the source puts it, this is biological protection engineering. It goes beyond just catching particles. It's actively neutralizing, breaking things down molecularly, and then trapping them permanently. The unique, patented nature of it, with the maze and the electrostatic impaction, is designed for comprehensive protection against everything from tiny particles like PM0.1 right up to complex molecular toxins and biological threats. It's aiming to create an utterly pristine environment right down to the molecular level.
And finally, step 5 is the final purification and ultra-clean air release. After passing through all these, frankly, incredibly rigorous stages, only this ultra-purified air comes out. The source promises direct physiological benefits from breathing this. Enhanced brain clarity, much less fatigue, overall support for organ vitality. It's presented as a complete cycle of purification and revitalization. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, the final words from the source really hammer home its core message. It repeats, you don't need more products, you need a clean place to breathe. It's such a direct challenge to how we usually think about beauty and wellness, focusing on consumption over environment.
It's like a profound shift in perspective, really. Instead of constantly looking for external fixes, the document points us back to a fundamental internal need. It suggests that if we just get the foundational element, the air, right, then the body's own ability to heal and regenerate can take over, maybe reducing the need for all that constant external support.
And the document uses these powerful, almost poetic quotes near the end. Close the door, turn on the system, oxygen stows in. You sleep peacefully and naturally feel more beautiful. And then this one. When the air is right, a woman's body knows how to heal, slow down aging, and feel safe again. It frames the system not just as a machine, but as something essential for enabling your body's innate healing, like a return to a natural state.
A safe harbor, almost.
Yeah, the source really emphasizes this idea. The human paradise isn't just comfort. It's your nightly ritual for youth preservation. It elevates breathing clean air while you sleep into this daily, non-negotiable investment in your long-term vitality, your beauty.
And that connects perfectly to that final, really impactful statement. Not a luxury, a turning point in your aging story. This perspective totally reframes anti-aging, away from being this external reactive process, buying the latest cream, towards an internal preventative one. It fundamentally alters how you might approach wellness by highlighting pure, oxygen-rich air as a foundation for health, for slowing aging. It's offering a pretty radical promise for longevity and vitality.
So what does this all really mean for us? This deep dive into the human paradise, it really challenges us, doesn't it? To think differently about how we invest in our well-being and, dare I say, our beauty. It suggests maybe the most profound changes, the lasting ones. They don't start on the surface or even with what we eat, but with the very air we breathe every single second. The emphasis on the hidden risks lurking in our indoor air, and then this specific technological solution, the Air 6-free maze. It certainly gives us a lot to think about regarding our daily exposure, especially during those crucial 8 hours of sleep.
And it raises an important question for you listening right now. If the quality of the air you breathe every minute truly plays such a big role in how fast you age, how vibrant you feel, what small, maybe immediate change could you make to improve your air environment starting tonight? Even just awareness could be the beginning of a turning point.
That's a great point. And thinking beyond this specific source, If internal restoration through meticulously purified oxygen-rich air can yield such significant benefits for aging and vitality, what other overlooked environmental factors might be silently impacting our long-term health, our well-being, just waiting for us to uncover their secrets? It's definitely a thought worth exploring, and perhaps, yeah, maybe a topic for another deep dive.